Hey everyone, Ronnie Rowe back again this week for another episode of my YouTube channel. It's been several weeks since I've been seeing all of you, and hope you've had a great 2 weeks. Hope you've been safe, got a lot of stitching done. Outside weather is clearing up. Looks like spring is right around the corner. Or a lot of places it's here right now. So I know you're looking forward to that and hope each and every one of you had an opportunity to get outside, do something. Sometimes you need to just put your stitching down, go outside, and whether you're doing any gardening, which I'm going to talk about tonight, and whatever you do. But anyway, get some exercise and get outside. So I've certainly been doing that, and it's been a good 2 weeks for me. As usual, what I ask you to do, I want you, if you will, if you want to, you can take and go down to the little subscribe button everywhere it is here and hit subscribe, and you'll be subscribed to Ronnie Rowe Designs, my channel. And won't cost, as I said before, it won't cost you anything. You might get a notification that I'm putting one of these out. That's about it, I guess. So hey, the color in this thing might be a little different. I got the window open. I'm doing it in the middle of the day. It is April the 26th. And anyway, we'll get started. As again, like I do every week, my cheat sheet, so I'll know what to talk about because if I don't have that, I'm lost because it's fading. I mean, it's just going away, just like my hair. Um, what's going on this week? What we've accomplished. Well, we finished up Blue Haven. I showed you Blue Haven last week. Oh, no, nope. Let's don't go there. Let's go first of all. Two things I want to do. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I asked you if you had anything that you're stitching on or any projects in the works, send them to me, and I would love to share those with people. Had one person send something in, Cammy Journey. She was kind enough to share with me some of the things she's done, and what she shared is her work fabulous, unbelievable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a screen with you and show you what Cammy has been working on. So anyway, this is, and I hope each and every one of you can see this right now, Cammy Journey. This is a quilt. This is a quilt that Cammy uh, has done, and she has taken each one of these little patterns and put onto a quilt, it looks like. And these are kind of home scenes, probably outdoor scenes, trees, and a lot of grass and other things that she's used. And I think it turned out fabulous. Let me blow this thing up here a little bit. Here's one of them that she did, which is fantastic. Did a great job on that. Also, one with some laundry hanging on a clothes pole, and that was really, really good. The other one, this is another view I want to show you. This is a rocking chair, looks like with a blanket in it, part of this whole quilt design, along with another, the same rocking chair, along with a fence post, what looks like with some barbed wire fence around it. So, but anyway, this is only a 4 of this, but it looks like to me she has put a lot of effort into all of this stitching and making this quilt, and it turned out fantastic. The other thing she sent in that I like to show you is right here. This is hanging on her wall. This is a backgammon uh, board that she did, a checkers board, or and a Monopoly set. And these designs are out there, and she did a great job of these, not only with the stitching, but also with hanging them up, and doing all the framing. And so I think she did a fantastic job on all of her projects right here. And I really do appreciate a whole lot her sending those in to me. And I really appreciate a whole lot, Cammy. And if you have anything else, please send it in. As all I've told all of you, if you've got something, send it in. We'd like to see it. We'd like to see what you're doing. So anyway, thank you again, Cammy, for that. I really do appreciate it. And fabulous work, just absolutely gorgeous. And I really enjoyed seeing that. What else is going on? Blue Haven. I talked about Blue Haven. I showed you Blue Haven last. I got a squeaky chair. I told you Blue Haven a couple weeks ago, and I showed it to you without glass because you know a lot of people say, "Well, you get the glare." Well, you're gonna get the glare today because I have put the glass into Blue Haven, and that's the way Blue Haven has turned out with glass all in it. And you can see, I know you can see it good with reflections, but that's okay. So that is a finished design, a finished picture, all ready for whatever. Hang on the wall, put in a box, store it somewhere. And but anyway, that was Blue Haven. What am I currently working on? Um, right now, I'm currently working on a design called Headlight. Headlight. Why did I pick Headlight? Well, as I told you last 2 weeks ago, I did a design called Lock. I showed you it had a lot of color in it, and I wanted to do something similar. But also, the reason I got a headlight, I wanted to do it is because have you ever had a vehicle? And I had this happen to me, a vehicle where the lens on the vehicle is kind of shaded over. It kind of got foggy looking. And when you do go get an inspection, if you do have to get an inspection in your state like we do, it might not pass inspection. So you get out there with a rubbing compound, clean this thing off, the headlight. So I thought I'd do a headlight. And so I'm going to show you where I am on this. I'm stitching it right now. And here's the challenge for you. Tell me what this is going to look like. If you see it, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to tell that this is a headlight, but this is where I am on headlight. Aha, where am I? This is the upper left-hand corner, working this way to the right, and upper left coming down to the bottom left. This is the end of the design. This is all finished from here to here. All this is complete. I'm working right in this area right now, and right here. What I'm liking about this design, it's a lot of fun. This is a fun piece because it's got a lot of color in it. Let me get this thing up here so maybe you can see it a little bit better. It's got lots of color in it and a lot of changing of threads. I'm really enjoying this. And so I think this is going to be a very pretty design. I've already gone to my local Home Depot and bought the wood. So I've got to put that on my table saw, my router. I'm going to build a frame for this. This is not going into one of my standard silver frames. I'm going to do something myself with this and do all the routing of the wood, the rabbet in the back, and stain it and polyurethane and all that. So anyway, you're going to see how I'm coming along with that in the upcoming weeks. Should be coming along fairly well on this. Probably be another, I don't know, month. I'm guessing until I finish around that. That's normally what it takes me. All depends on how much stitching I get done as far as getting outside, the weather. It's supposed to be rainy this weekend, so I know I'll get some stitching done. Next project, what am I going to do after this, or what's in the works right now? Finished the opera one. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I finished that. Haven't started stitching it. Really haven't started getting my stuff laid, but I know what I'm going to do with that one. That was the one I was telling you about, the Broadway, the opera, or some play type, that sort of setting. I wanted to do something. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be unusual, but I know what I'm going to do with that, and that's ready for me to go. The other one I was talking about is the one I'm really, really excited about, and that is called Orleans. And this is going to be the 3 colors or 4 colors I'm using in this grays, and very classy looking. This is going to be nice, and that will go into a silver frame. And the way I'm going to frame this thing up, I'm not sure if I'm going to use black mat board on this or black with dark grays. Anyway, I haven't even started stitching it yet. I haven't gotten going. So, but those 2 are in the works, and I really haven't made up my mind if I'm going to do the opera one or the Orleans, which one I'm going to stitch after headlights. I will come up with something because I normally always have something in the work to sit down and stitch. Any other comments? Oh yeah, one of the comments I got this week, I got a note from a lady this week that's stitching one of my designs, Lady Liberty, and that is a black and white. And if you've ever stitched a black and white design of mine, I normally use black. I started out using black thread, and then I switched over years later to 844, which is a dark gray, and it wasn't as harsh as the black. And one reason I did that is because if you're using white material and you got a stitch here and another stitch here, do I stitch this one and go that with a string across, or do I stitch this, tie it off, and stitch these separately? Well, it all depends on the distance from one stitch to another. If it's a right good ways, if it's 4 or 5 stitches away from each other, I normally tie them off and start the next stitch. I won't run that thread on the back of my material because a lot of times you can see through it. If you're not careful, uh, you can see through it if you're using especially black 310 DMC black. You will be able to see through that sometimes. So that's one reason I went to 844. But anyway, I answered her question. That's what I do. I mean, everyone can work it the way they want to, and so yeah, it's only if you're using black or 844. If you're using a lighter thread to stitch one of these, it really doesn't matter that much. So anyway, that was one of the questions I got this week. Uh, Projects in the works right now. Well, I've got an old mill in the work. I've got, as I told you, vans. I've got some old Volkswagen vans. You don't see those anymore really at all. And so I'm still designing, working on those. But one thing I'm really going to do that I started every year, I start my garden around January time. That's when I start planting my seeds in my hothouse and do all that. And so I've always been big on growing tomatoes. I grow a lot of tomatoes every year, and people say, "What do you do with all those tomatoes?" Well, I carry them to the Y. I give away a lot of tomatoes every year. A lot of basil, a lot of thyme, a lot of sage. We grow a lot of that, and so we give a lot of that stuff away. And so my tomato plants, um, I go out there when I plant seeds, and in my little hot house, if you will, I'm very particular. Make sure the soil is right, everything is sterilized. It has to be right, and I baby these things. I mean, it's a tomato seed, and I'm out there. I'm making sure everything is right on those. And every year I have some pretty good tomatoes. This year I planted a variety of tomatoes called Better Bush, not Better Boys or Big Girls or Beefsteak, one of those. This is a Better Bush, and these plants get around 4.5, 5 foot tall. They get beautiful fruit on them when it comes in. They're very sturdy plants. And so my project, one of the things I'm going to work on, I'm going to start working on designing it all out. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, is one of my tomato plants. I don't know if anyone would want to do it. I don't know if anybody would buy a pattern of a tomato plant that Ronnie Rowe did. I mean, doesn't matter. That's what I'm going to do because that's what I want to. And my inspiration is my tomato plants. And what I'm going to show you right now is one of my tomato plants. I've got a lot of them already in the garden. They're already in the garden, straw around them, cages up, all built and everything. They're ready to go. But I had so many of them, I put some of them in these plastic containers. And so what I want to show you is a Ronnie Rowe tomato plant. There is a Ronnie Rowe tomato plant. This is what I have grown from seed. And this is a Better Bush. And this thing will get about 5 foot tall. I'm going to put this in a couple big pots we have on the patio this year. And they're not patio tomatoes. These are full grown, big, nice tomatoes. And I have even, laugh at this, got a compost pile that I took the dirt out of the compost. I sifted the dirt out of the compost on a screen to get all the other stuff off of it. And that is the soil that I use for this. And so anyway, I raise my own tomato plants. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do a cross stitch design of me and my tomato plant. So No, it's not marijuana. Wish it was. But anyway, it's a tomato plant, and this is a better bush. This is what I do. And so other than cross stitch and swimming at the Y. So Ronnie Rowe's tomato plants. Uh, People have asked me, why do I sell these? No, I'll give them to people, but no, I don't sell any of this kind of stuff. That's just another hobby of mine, something I like to do. So um what else do we have this week? Oh, somebody asked me about my finished piece, asked me about like Blue Haven. What do I do? Do I sell any of my finished designs? All framed, all stitched. I did all the stitching. Do I frame them? And the answer, do I sell them? And the answer is yes. If anyone would be interested in any of my designs, all the way from the latest one, this Blue Haven, all the way back to the Williamsburg collection back. I practically have, well, I've sold a lot over the years, but I've probably got 100 over the last 42 years that I've stitched, all framed up in boxes stored away, some hanging on the wall. So if anyone is interested in a finished project, ready to hang, wire, the whole thing ready to go in cross stitch, or one of my designs that I cross stitched. I mean, and hire these things out. I did all the stitching and everything. And so if anyone's interested in one, get in contact with me. How many I have? Well, I've got a lot of them. The cost, I don't know the cost. I mean, I'd have to talk to you about each one of them. I certainly couldn't pay. Yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't charge you how many hours by the hour, because I put 100 hours in each one of these things. I mean, it's a lot of work, as you well know, with this Blue Haven and what you do with something like this headlight. There's no way you can get paid by the hour for stitching. I mean, it'd be ridiculous. But anyway, yes, they are for sale, and if anyone is interested, just get in contact with me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about that and how we'd ship them to you and everything in that sense. So anyway, that's what's going on with me. Nothing more than that. Oh, had to buy a new printer this week. A printer on me. My printer. I had a printer I've had for a right good while. I'm looking at it over here now. I've had for a right good while, so I had to go and buy a new printer. And so this is just an inkjet printer I have for letters and everything. I don't really print all my designs on these printers I have here. I use a commercial. I do that commercially somewhere. Home Office Max usually does most of my printing. But anyway, had to buy a new printer this week, and I got all that set up, and that seems to be working fine, which is good news, because normally when I do something, it doesn't work anymore. Some guy was a while today was talking about his weed eater. He cleaned his weed eater and it wouldn't work anymore. I said, that's the story of my life. When I go out with a lawnmower or a tiller, anything mechanical, anything, if I clean it up, it don't work anymore. Don't know why, but that's just kind of the way it's always worked for me. So, but anyway, that's what's going on in my world. I hope your world is doing well for you. Like I say, it's pretty outside. Get outside and do something. Put your stitching down. And what else? That's about it. Go to my website, Ronnie Rowe Designs. I got an Etsy store out there, not anything new. Got some sales going on in my Etsy store for some merch, some things I think maybe you might like. Take a look at it anyway. It costs you nothing to look at it. So anyway, until next week or 2 weeks from now, or when I get going on this, if it's something else I really need to talk to you about, I certainly will get back sooner. And again, if you have any projects, send them to me. Send me your projects, and I'll certainly put them on this YouTube video that I do. My good friend Julie out in Colorado, I wish her well on her new job. I watched her video the other night, and she sounds excited about it. I'm happy. I hope Julie gets along very, very well, and I appreciate the comment she gave me at the end of her video. I tried to help Julie. I gave her maybe a little bit. I helped her a little bit. Very talented lady, but anyway, I kind of took a little bit of credit for getting her going. So, but anyway, Julie, my friend, Hope everything works out well for you. And again, before I leave you tonight, it's one thing I always want to tell you, or today, it's not night now, it's today. One thing I want to tell you is come back and be safe. Thank you and have a good week. Bye-bye.